What's up? Before we get started this morning, I'm going to try to set up Twitch notifications for when I get like a new subscriber. So we'll see what we can do here to do that. Cool. All right. Let's get our resolution correct on the. Ooh, there. All right. Let's get our browser. Let's see if we can. Does this just work? What? Why does this not work? Ooh, Why is this so big? It should just work. And yet it doesn't. Let's see if we can. I spent all this time yesterday getting like a keyboard shortcut figured out so that I could just like press like command whatever and like the screen would automatically be the size that it needed to be. And now today it's not working, and now I've got to like, which is good because I feel like I'm going to get, for some reason, it's giving me more screen real estate, which I'm not mad about. Also, good to have you all here. Feel free to hop in chat and say hey. Is that right? Cool. All right, so there's a couple things that I want to do. Let's do VLC. I saw this. Download VLC for Mac. Here we go. And what we're going to do here is, thanks, download, if not, click here. Blah, blah, blah. Download is started. This is going to let me play like a YouTube video for like background music. I thought it'd be fun to have some background music. Man, I love this stuff. Jason makes such good stuff. All right. There's this guy, and he makes just like the most lovely background music stuff. We're gonna do that. So let's see if we can get this working. I like quickly Googled how to do this morning. So if y'all know a better way of doing this, where you could just play whatever the audio is that's coming out of, maybe there's like a way to just play the audio that is currently playing on your computer. I don't know. But what I do know is that I saw this on the internet. And so we're going to see if we can do this. Check for blah, 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 blah. I don't really want album metadata. Okay. Playlist. That's fine. Somebody mentioned, yep, there we go. All right. Let's find which one we want to play. There's one that's like a Zelda that I really like. I love me some. It's very, very linked to the past. Let's see if we can find it. This one's pretty good. Ooh. There we go. Boom. This is the one. All right. Let me open this one. This is going to be great. All right. Let's see if we can get this working the way we want. too. Your input cannot be opened. Does not mean open. Blah 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 blah. Oh, what? Let's see. YouTube video in VLC for OBS. That's, yeah, okay, I spelled it right. All right. We're not going to watch a YouTube video on it. Let's see, create a new browser source setting the resolution equal to the one you're aiming for. Paste the URL for the video you want to stream in the URL. See, this is probably what we actually want. Let's just listen to the, all right. So what it says we want to do is we're going to create a new browser source. Boom. Paste the URL for the video. We're going to call this Zelda Music. We're going to paste the URL. Okay. Are y'all able to hear that? Sounds like it's going. But I don't know if I can hear it. Let me see if I can do settings to where I can hear what's happening there. If you have source automatically, you can see the page. The source might be really loud. So click on, with the source selected, click on interact. Anybody there that can tell me if they feel like the volume's good? I wish there was a way that I could listen to it myself. Let's see if that, I bet there's a way to figure that out. All right, listen to audio source. Test, yes. There we go. And monitor. Oh, okay, there we go. That's kind of loud. Let's bring the volume down for just a little bit. How's that? That feels pretty good balance there. But if it's too loud, well, that's a little better. All right, bada boom, bada bing. Y'all tell me if y'all don't like how that sounds. But I just thought we might try it. It seemed kind of fun. All right, I'm gonna turn it off. Actually, that's not true. I kind of want to listen to it too. So we're gonna leave monitoring on. And we didn't need VLC Media Player. Glad I downloaded that. So fun. All right. Now let's see if we can... Let's see if we can get this set up. Let's see if we can get this set up. Let's see if we can get this set up. Let's see if we can get this... That was hilarious. Okay. Picture in picture in picture in picture. Also, hooray. I got Twitch working. see if we can grab notifications. I think it's... I bet it's probably like creator dashboard or something like this. Yep. All right, cool. All right, here we go. We want to open this. We want to add alerts. All right, we've got an alert box. Copy browser source. Let's see if we can get this added in. Browser. Ooh, we're gonna call this alerts. There we go. Boom. Now we're just gonna position this over here, maybe? This feels like pretty low. And then if anybody wants to, just follow me and then we'll see if it works. Also, I'm realizing I'm doing stuff on like my OBS setup and none of y'all can see it, but y'all can see the stuff up here. Okay. Okay, so if we get a new follow, this is what we are going to see. New follow duration. Ooh, we want to drop this. I've heard people say 4 is pretty much the best option there. Also, this is not great for small screens. Let's see if I can just make it a little smaller for a second. There we go. All right, fade in, fade out. I don't want to fade in. I want it to like zoom in. Zoom in seems fun, and zoom out. Any new follow? Yep. Duration, yep. Layout. That feels good. Rounded corners. Yeah, this will all be fine. Username just followed. Accent color. Ooh, let's make it on brand. This like pinky purple color. That's kind of in my profile picture. There we go. Let's add a drop shadow just so it's a little more visible. Should we say the alert text out loud? I don't know. All right, acknowledged, alert image. That looks pretty good. Alert sound. That's a crazy sound. That's fine. I'll pick a different one later. We're not gonna spend too much time on this. Add animations to jazz up your alerts. Oh, send test alert. Oh, cool. All right, let's see if this works on channel. Here we go. Oh, okay. Save the changes first. Ooh. Pretty cool. We're gonna make it just a little smaller though. Well, it says 800, 600. We'll just kind of scoot it over then so that it's like more. There we go. Let's test this one again. Boom. All right, that's pretty good. No, I actually kind of want it right there. There we go. That's where we want it. And then I heard celebrations is like flamethrower. That's a crazy moderate. Basically, like what you can do is like I could turn it on, let's say like extreme. Let's save this real quick and then send a test alert. Where it just goes like super extra. I don't care too much about it though. All right, that's good enough. All right, save. Subscriptions, yes, 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 yes. All of these are great. So excited. Cool. Okay, So we're just going to leave these to the defaults for now. And if I actually start getting a bunch of you following and subscribing, maybe we'll have some fun with it. But right now we're just going to start streaming so that we can actually have some fun with it. All right. Let's go ahead and open up our code editor. Get it to the right size. We're gonna do drag and drop today. I think we'll actually get to drag and drop. All right. We're gonna remove that. We're gonna remove this. We're gonna go ahead and get our terminal open as well. And we're gonna go to the right directory. There we go. All right. One thing we're also gonna do is, I think y'all can see just fine if I do it like this. I want to make this stuff go away. Like this stuff up here at the top. So let's see what we can do to turn that off. Appearance, status bar, is that what we want? Ooh. Do we want, I don't think we care about status bar. We want like as minimal as we can go. Because I think the more minimal that it is, the more people can see, and that'll be great. Panel, align panel, tab bar, editor actions, position. Oh, that be, no, that wasn't it. Let's see if we hide this. Nope. And now we probably won't be able to see tabs if we want them, if we have multiple files. Do multiple tabs. If anybody knows how to turn this off in VS Code, holla at your boy. And we're gonna try to get this turned off. Hidden, bottom, blah, blah, blah. Toggle breadcrumbs, sticky scroll, render control characters, editor layout. I'm not really sure what this little thing at the top is called, so I have no idea how to turn it off. I don't, whatever this was, get rid of that. Oh well. All right. Let's go back to our page. Now we can go to made for me. Boom. All right, I started doing some stuff yesterday, as you can see, already changing the design around a little bit. We'll see how I decide to handle all this. But today we're going to focus on continuing our media uploader. Let me tell the people that we're doing this. All right. I think it like automatically. Thanks, Nick. Love Nick. Nick's a great guy. He's a really good designer. And he's doing some good stuff. And a little like has his own agency going. Also, this is just so frustrating. Because this is not the stream. And I change it in restream settings, but it keeps putting it as the wrong stream, which is frustrating. All right. Is there a way I can just edit this here? Let's just do that. All right. Drag and drop. Media component. Laravel plus Inertia. All right, cool. And copy this link. Make a tweet. Really, the place that I want to go do that in is Blue Sky. All the cool people are hanging out. over a blue sky now. Let's get my Twitch URL because we're just going to share that one. Boom. All right, share. Copy. Let's write a new. Whoa. All right. There's such a huge space between their writing and their media. That's a design update that I would like to see. Cool, cool, cool. Well, while that's posting, let's get this working. All right, so this is what we got to yesterday. I think I want to make that. Now that I've switched kind of to be more of like a white approach, like just using like a grayscale instead of having like a color themed on everything situation. I think I want my backdrops to be the color like background. And then we're gonna do it at like 5 opacity. That's for preview field. Let's go to our media field. Here we go. Bada boom, bada bing. Back to the browser. And let's see what kind of color that is. It could be a little brighter than 5. Let's try 10. Opacity 100. Data closed. Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. Still not popping that great. Is this getting the right background 10? Well, let's just play around with it directly then until we get what we want. This is what I like to do it this way. Sometimes just because it's like, who wants to switch? Oh no, this is still far color background. Why is this getting more? Oh, because it's still using white. Why is that? Why are we doing that? Because our backup. Guys, I'm not the smartest tool in the shed sometimes. My background is white, so I actually did want foreground. And I bet this is... the reason it's not working is because there's not the foreground of the... Alright. I think I put foreground as like something that doesn't exist. Is my best guess. Color gray, 1100. I don't know if 1100 exists. Actually, I know it doesn't exist. That only exists in my head. All right, there we go. That's what we want, folks. Much better, much better. That's why these weren't working either. And now they feel very light. Let's bump this back up to 60. That's not terrible. All right. So go to add media. We can add media. We put it in test uploads yesterday. How's the coffee? Ah, man, I need coffee. I don't have any. I had coffee this morning. So like, depending on my day, I'll wake up in the morning sometime between 5 and 5:45. Depends on which child decides to wake up at what time of the day. And the earlier they wake up, I sometimes have my coffee before dropping everybody off. Like sometimes I have it after. Good, those were all successful. We're gonna select these. Save that, so now they're over here. And now we just need to implement, a couple things. Like I need to like have file information over here for myself. And then we need to do drag and drop. But I think I'm gonna do drag and drop first because nobody cares about the information. I care about the information, nobody else does. All right, but yes, that's what I normally do, but like some mornings they're just so early, Emmett. I've got to do it like before, but then I like get back to like the peace and calm of like the house because I work from home. I like get back here and I'm just like, oh, I wish I could have more coffee, and I could, but that's just irresponsible sometimes. All right, this green is gonna bother me now. Let's just fix that real quick. All right, we're gonna make this Let's just make this a calming purple because we're streaming. Why not? There we go. That's a little easier on the eyes for right now until I change the design of everything. I think I'm gonna have to change type, like the font choice. I really like it. But it's got like it's got an off line height. So like when you look at this, I had to do it on the button, but I've not done it here. Like this has got a standard, I don't know what the technical terminology for all this is, but it's got uniform padding around everything. And I bet even if I like add, let me just try to like manually set the line height so I can show y'all too. Let's set it to 1. I wonder if I tried to set, what is it, 32? If I set it to 32 pixels, nope, that's not gonna work. 32 pixels minus the padding. Get out of here, whatever that is. Computed 4 and 4, so 32 minus 8. Don't do public math. 24. Well, that's not. See, like that's just got like it's like the line spacing off, and I'm not gonna sit here and like get all the line height manually set on everything so that like it looks centered. It just looks off. It looks not centered, which is not something we like. All right. So let's go back to our code and let's start implementing drag and drop. We're gonna do this without a library. And it's actually not that hard, all things considered. So what we want to do is we've got our media list. Sorry, I'm not speaking out loud. I'm thinking in my head, which I need to share anyway. Okay, so we got a media list. This is what's getting looped through to make this whole thing. And there are some like properties that we need to add for making stuff draggable. And that's what I'm going to be working on now. And to do that, I'm going to be using some code from... let me run this just so I can show y'all what we're working with. All right. This will probably be like localhost 3001 now. Nope. What did we get run on? 3000. Oh, I bet it is just 3000 because Laravel puts stuff not on like a localhost port. It puts it on. So that means we can probably just go here. Yep. All right, cool. So this is like our this is crunchy Data is the company that I work for during the day. And we've got this feature called saved queries. And saved queries are just like, you can write a query and get results from your database in your dashboard, and you can save a bunch of them. And they are like, this is like a drag and droppable situation. Like they can be dragged into a folder or out of a folder. And so I've like implemented this previously. So I'm just going to grab like the details of like what need to be added. Is not too bad. All right, queries. And then we're gonna find on drag. So there's like some fun events that we will be just working with once we think through what we want to do. There is drag over, drag leave, on drop, and then we have our actual like on dragging, which is interesting. So we'll start there. Okay. So the first thing that we want to specify is if something is draggable. So we want to make our whole, this is all draggable. So adding this property by itself, if we go back to here, oh man, this is gonna be frustrating, isn't it? If I have to like, every time I make a change. So I probably will just try to code as much as I can, and then we'll come back. All right, save. All right, so this is what makes it to where like, okay, like I'm pulling this and I'm dragging it around. Which, as you can see, because we're using, so this is like one of the fun things, like if you use just native browser, you see how it's like really tight on that image there? That's because I'm using like gaps for, like as you can see, it's like using a flex column and a gap. So you're not getting any of that gap in the drag preview. So instead what we can do, which is kind of fun, like it's nice, just like these like little nice details. So if we did rounded and we did PY, this might be interesting. If we did PY2 negative MY2 and still did a gap of 2, let's see how this ends up looking. I think in theory this should leave the gaps the exact same, but now when we drag, now when we drag it, we've got a nice little border. We got like some spacing on top and bottom. Looks like you can't like make your preview rounded, I don't think. I don't know for a fact, but I added that it should be rounded and it's not doing that. Let's just double check to say like overflow hidden, just to confirm that it is definitely not possible to make it rounded. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Let me just triple check that what we've got is that it's rounded, overflow hidden. So yeah, those got added, but it's not doing it. So like it looks like we just won't be able to make it rounded, which is fine. It's like just dragging. So we're not overthinking it. Okay, but that does nothing. So like now it's draggable, but like doesn't matter where you drag it, it's not gonna be able to do anything unless it's a drop zone, quote unquote drop zone. That allows, that like cares about that. So the way that you do that is by saying there's an event that matters here that we will add. But just to give you like a, here we go. So we want on drag over. So this is interesting. So when this one is being dragged over, what we can do is basically say probably need to keep track of state then. Const drag target. We're gonna call this one's gonna be a number because it's gonna be an index, and by default it's going to be number or null, just so we like know for sure what we're working with. And then so that means what we're gonna do is we're gonna set drag target to be this index. And on drag over, we're going to set the index as the drag target. Why is this? Cannot find name. Oh, because this like auto completed to something that's really frustrating. All right. On drag over. That means what we also need to make sure that we have is an on drag, not on drag in, on drag. Exit. Wonder what the difference between on drag exit. Okay, anyway, on drag enter might be what we probably want to do then. If we're going to do exit, let's just do enter and exit. Now what that gives us the ability to do, to say, is in our class name, looking good. TypeScript is growing on me. TypeScript is, I hesitate to say the word. I'm a big functional programming fan. It's one of those things where it's like, all right, I think React is the best way to write front end for me personally. Like I've just got so much experience. There's so many resources. There's also so many so many people use React that it's also just valuable. So that means if I'm going to learn a front end framework, like something that is going to be a valuable skill set that's not just for fun, then I'm going to be using React. And if I'm using React, then I'm going to be using TypeScript because I love types, and TypeScript is better than just using plain JavaScript. Static types are fantastic. There are better statically typed languages. Like for instance, like no shade on Laravel because Laravel is incredible. But I love Gleamlang, and want to try and rewrite this backend in Gleam just for fun. Probably might not use that for like the production version of this, but like I just want to write some Gleam because it's such a beautiful functional language with static types. All right, so if drag target equals the current index, then what we might do, for instance, is say make this background primary 50. Just as an example, that's probably not what we're going to be doing. And then now when we add our media and select them and save it, now when we go to drag this, you see how like when it's dragged over it, you get this little highlight. Pretty cool. Now, there's something else that we're going to be doing. So that's not like all that we need to do. Because then there's like this, like whole thing about, well, if it's on the like bottom half of that item, if you drop it, If you drop it there, then like we want it to be sorted below it. If you drop it above it, then we want to like sort it above that. That way you can kind of drag all of that around as you see fit. So let me grab what we're gonna need to do that. Let's see if I have this project here. Playground, do I have that here? No. I'm gonna be doing this part off screen because it requires looking at a repo that is not for public consumption. But while you're here, y'all can all look at Crunchy Data homepage. Great company, by the way. Great product, too. Fantastic product. Here we go. Okay. So what we want here is, let's go. I don't know if y'all have seen this. I can bring this back up here now because what I want is actually not. All right, so there's this great demo. We're gonna go to YouTube remix. That is so broad. That is extremely not helpful. There we go.
We're gonna look at what drag.
No, we're not doing this in remix, but this will give us. He has this. Yeah, that's this stuff right here. Get bounding client rect, midpoint, and then you see if the midpoint is yes. This is the stuff we want. But it should be just in like a code base, so we can just review it. Why no lib for this? Because it's simple? Yes, because it's simple. I generally just like, especially for like projects like this, I like writing things without a library for the sake of like learning how to do it. And I built it without a library for our for not a project like this, because it drag and drop is really not super complex until you have a complex use case. So like something where you're like dragging things across like completely different columns, and I'm sure there's like other really complicated stuff about drag and drop too, that you might want to factor in as well. But maybe if you want like super nice, like if you want like very specific like previews when you drag, then it could be a lot of code to kind of write all that, and a library can help simplify that. But honestly, it's really not overly complicated. All right, here we go. Card, accept drop. Yes, this is what we were looking for. On drag over, which is what we want. On drag leave. Oh, yeah, he uses over and leave, which is good. Yeah, I liked this. This is what I was thinking about. So I just used the index at first because we weren't trying to like get all of these details here, but this is the good stuff right here. So there's an event current target, and event client Y. Close that out. So yeah, this is like exactly what we want. And we're just gonna take it. And we're not gonna be making any, this is like a bunch of, this is really cool stuff. So this is how I built it for Crunchy Data's site, because like on every drop you need to be updating a resource in the back end. But since this is like a create form, since we're like doing the form itself, the ordering doesn't matter until we're submitting the entire form, which makes it a little nicer for us to try and worry about. All right, drag over. Okay, I know why we want this. So drag over is going to give us an update every single time that the card moves on this canvas, basically. So basically what we want here now is we want to factor in, there are two options. We're gonna do like a union type. Love union types, and this is like the perfect example of when a union type is great. We want none, we want top, and we want bottom. And what we're actually going to need to do now is create a media item component, because this state needs to be unique to each item. So we are going to undo that. We're gonna yank that. We're gonna paste, well, we didn't yank it. All right. Ooh. I don't know what just happened. Let's go back to where we were. Cool. Delete that. And we're gonna have a media item, and our props for this is we want to pass in the file, and we want to pass in the index, and we're also going to need to pass a key, which is going to just be the file. No, we're going to pass in the path, because path is unique here. There we go. And now we just actually have to make our, now we just need to make our media item. And we want this to be file index number. We're going to paste what we had. File and index here. We're gonna see. Now we need, what do we want to call this? Is target? No, we're not going to do is target. We're just going to call it target, because is implies it's a Boolean just by a naming convention. right, and then we're gonna use our union type. So we want, if the target is none, then we know that this is not being dragged over. If it is top, then we know that whatever's being dragged over it is on the top half of this. So we want to style it as such, which I'll show you how we're gonna do that in a minute. And I don't know if index even matters anymore, but we're gonna keep it in there for now. All right, and this is going to be draggable on drag over. We're gonna grab our event, and then we're gonna paste all that stuff that we got here, which we don't care about that. I like calling it event, that's fine. Stop, propagation, prevent default. I don't know if we need these. And I'm always a fan of leaving them until we realize we have to have them. Accept drop. We're still gonna call it target because we name things the way we want to name it. Is anybody else here? Anybody else want to say hey in chat? Been getting some good people talking. Do y'all like the background music? All right, so current target is the item that is being dragged, and then the client Y. Usually client, I wonder if this is HTML div element. So client Y. No, I think client Y has to, that current target is this div that's being dragged over. And event.clientY is like the dimension for like the current drag. And I think it has to do with like the mouse point. So this is what's going to help us here. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to be able to add styles that are a lot more specific and are a lot more like expressive. So let's add this back. And we're going to say if target equals top, then we want a border top of 2. And we want that border to be the primary color. Then let's just go wrap that up there. All right. Then we're basically gonna do the same thing, except now if the target is bottom, we're gonna change this to bottom. All right. Then what this is gonna let us do is lose all of our media. Every time, friends, every time. Save this selection. Now when we're dragging over it, do you see? You see how this is? But look, that's a fun little bug because we haven't taken out the, all right. See, now we've got this to where it's like, oh, this is gonna go above it or below it. But what we have not added is the on drag leave, which is just a super easy little thing to set the target back to none. Now when we go here, there we go. I'd be curious. Okay, so let's figure this out. Something else that we want to factor in is the fact that this is on drag. We probably want to have some global state. That's basically like the item being dragged, which I'm finding out we don't. Well, maybe we do. This is where the index comes to make a play. All right. Current item. But let's just make it very specific. Item being dragged. This is going to be a number as well. And what we want to do here is say if item being dragged equals index, we want to return null. Otherwise this. And then actually we don't even need to do this part. And what we do need though is on drag, which is going to be something like that. And on drag, on drop, I think is the, either way, I like that naming. We will need more information than this, because we need, on drop, we need to know what the current target is in the form of an index. But this should be able to give us like enough to do something that I want to try. All right. So up here, what we want to have is current drag item const current drag target saying here is if current drag item equals our index, don't return, like don't render this, otherwise do, because that means like when we start the drag, our item will disappear. Is that what we want to do? Or do we want to have, we'll get there. That means when we start dragging, we want to set current drag item to this index. And on drop, we want to take in the current target, which is, we're now going to put a type to this because we're using it in 2 components. Drag target, and this equals none, top and bottom. All right. This is going to be a drag target. And we're going to basically say console.log current drag target. We don't care about index. Current drag item. Current drag item, current drag target, and then whether it's like top or bottom. And then once we have that information, that's enough information for us to be able to like basically, well, I guess I could go ahead and do it. All right, so basically what we'll be doing now is saying set media list and we want to, yep, this is pretty close to what we want, but kind of not. All right, we want to say const next equals this so that we can run some information on these. And then we want to splice. Do we want to splice? Basically what we want to do is we want to reorder. We want to pull out the current media item by index. And then we want to all right. Let's ask old. This is a very specific question, so ChatGPT should know very quickly what we got here. All right, so what we're gonna do is say, how do I pull an item out of an array by index and move it after another specific index? To move an item within an array, blah, blah, blah. All right, first we're gonna splice it. So this basically is saying like from this index, pull a single element off, and it's gonna return it as an array. So that's why we're gonna pluck like the first argument out of this. Then we have our to index. If the to index is greater than the from index, adjust the target index if necessary. I'm gonna skip this line because that doesn't make any sense for what we're trying to do. Step 3, insert the item after the target index. All right, adjusted index +1. Oh, that's saying, okay. Oh, okay, so that's why we're adjusting it, is because now that we've pulled the item out, if the from index was before this index, then our new index has changed. Boom. That makes a lot of sense. And we're gonna splice it again by putting, we're not pulling any items, but we're putting this item. Cool, okay, so this is a good starting spot for what we're trying to do. But we've got some small adjustments that we're going to be making to that. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our next target and we're going to get the current drag item out of it. That's like the big thing, is like if on drop, if no current drag item or no current drag target. then we just return it because nothing's changing. Okay. Then at this point, what we want to do is pull this part, which is it? It is. Okay, cool. Types are good for that one. If the current drag item was before the current drag target, then we need to adjust the current drag target index by 1. Otherwise, we can just return the current drag index. Okay. We're going to remove these comments. We don't need them. Okay, the next thing that we're going to be doing is saying splice this item in there. We've got our adjusted index. Now, we are going to be doing one of two things now. To say if target, oh, that's another good one. We're going to put that one up here. So if for some reason our target equals none, we also don't want to do anything. Okay, so now if our target equals top, that means we're putting it before the current one, so we can just leave it as is. Otherwise, we need to add one to the adjusted index. And then we want to return next. And that's our on drop. And we're going to adjust this function accordingly, because now we're not passing anything to on drag. And what we're adding here is a target, drag target. And we're going to do the same thing here. Change in what is this mood music? It's like you're on an elevator. Also, where's your hat? You good, bro? Thanks, babe. I always love having you drop in on stream. And by always, I mean it's now happened twice, so now it's a thing. This mood music is from a video game that I used to play when I was a small child. And I listen to this kind of stuff when I work, babe, because it allows my mind to just like zone out. And I thought people might enjoy more than just silence whenever I'm like writing something and not paying enough attention to chat to talk to them, because I get very distracted, hence missing all of these messages that you just posted. Also, if you want to make we can talk about this later. You can make me some recommendations for what to play on the background, but it can't be too bopping, because then like nobody's gonna pay attention to me. That should be good. Now we should be able to get this to just work now. And now we don't have to track index inside of media list. That's one less prop that we're having to put there. Okay, so this should now work. This should reorder, except we don't have a set current drag target, which we need. So let's do that. We're gonna have a on drag enter event. And an on drag exit, drag leave event, because we probably want to just go ahead and cover our bases there and set that to null. in case we're dragging it and it's like the last one. Okay, so on drag enter, except we are gonna have it on drag leave. There we go. Perfect. Now let's go to our, what are we going to? We're going to the browser. Right. Let's see if what we did worked, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, select, save. Now if I drag this, that one disappears from the space. And if I move it down here and release, nothing happened. And now it's gone forever. We always get it right on the first try, don't we, folks? Let's go back to our code and figure out what happened. On drop. On drop, we need to do this and set. We need to do that at the end, though. Set media list. Then we want to do current drag target to null. Current drag item to null. Except those need to be set. What's the thing to like turn off line wrapping at? Because I feel like there's a shortcut for it. This is my favorite use of ChatGPT for this kind of stuff. All right. Turn off line wrapping shortcut for VS Code. You can toggle on the shortcut. Windows and Linux, Mac OS Option Z. Boom. All right, this might make things just a little nicer for y'all as well. Okay. There was not that much being wrapped. Huh. Okay. Well, we'll not worry about it then. All right, back to the browser. Bye to you. All right, now we gotta reload. But that's, I mean, okay, one sec. Before we go through all that song and dance again, there was another thing that was not working as expected, which is that's what it is. This is getting triggered. That is definitely the case. Let's just double check here real quick to see if we missed a on drop, on drag leave, on drag over. There's a on drag start. Yes. That's what we on drop. I think on drop. on drop actually should be. Let's look it up. All right. On drop event. Drop events. Let's just make sure we get our events right. Minimal drag and drop. Yep. Drag over. Okay. The drop event handler for the drop zone. We handle moving the draggable element from the original container to the drop zone. So the drop is actually, okay, so this is a drop zone. And this is a drop zone. This is a draggable. And then we're listening to on drop. Open a link for some elements. Okay, so we do want to go ahead and prevent defaults, which we will. And move dragged element to the selected drop zone. So drop is what I thought it was. So we're just gonna log some stuff. It's my favorite. All right, do that. Current drag, target, and target. There we go. And what we also want to do is add our prevent defaults. Except I don't think it matters on drag leave or enter. But let's find out what they say here. All right, on drag over prevent default to allow dropping. Interesting. So maybe it's just required in general. No, that's not what we want. We want it to be on this stuff down here. All right. Let me see if on drag needs it. Let's see if they do it here. On drop, stop propagation. That's a good one because that'll keep us from on drag leave. We don't need it, which is good. Just go ahead and clear that out then. On drag start. Nope, don't have to do it there either. Okay, cool. Just make sure we're getting things named what we want them. And on drop, we do want to stop propagation. Because that will keep it from like bubbling up too high. And if there's like some parent handler or something that we don't want. All right, let's try this again. One more time. Just kidding. There's probably going to be more than one time. But I've got about 10 more minutes and then I'm stopping. So let's get it done before 10 minutes. Okay. it's gone. Rats. Whoa. Don't love that. Man, I really messed something up. That doesn't even... Let's not and say we did. Let's not do this part where we're making it disappear. Because that just feels like not a good idea at the moment. Alright. Okay. Now if we drag this, we put it up here, nothing is happening, but we want to see 2 null top 0 1 2. So that's correct. What we're missing is the current target. So that's the only part that we're missing here, is the current drag target's not being set. Current drag on drag start. On drag enter. On drag leave. That's why. I was not calling it as an actual function. Let's try that again. Still no. Let's reload. Also, my R2 bucket is going to just have so much of the same file just over and over in it now. All right. Now we know that we want to move this one up here. It's still setting as null. On drag enter. Maybe on drag enter is not what we want. Maybe we really just need to do it on drag over. In which case, let's rename it to where it's actually what it's supposed to be. Well, okay, let's not get crazy yet. There's a reason I want it to be on drag enter. And that reason, all right, console.log here enter, and then let's go ahead and throw it on up here too, and say console.log called enter. See, this stuff's getting set. But it's still null. Alright, on drop. Current drag target. Okay, so it's null, which makes sense. And it's just looks like the... Huh. That should have... I got it to work that time. It was just like the sensitivity was too high. And like the events were overriding each other. So like this on drag leave and setting the current drag target to null was happening too fast. So if I do this now. See, now we're getting somewhere. But now this is not, that part's not working. Oh. Let's take a look at that. We're gonna get this working. Okay. Now that we've done that, we're gonna just add some logs for the before and after just to see what are. Okay. If we move it there, that didn't even get called. Why? We're gonna remove this. Okay. Now we're going to try to move this up here. It says, okay, 1, 0. That's not why. It is why. Okay, so it's working. What we were running into the issue of, unfortunately, is a classic 0 if this equals null. We need to do specifically a null check. Because 0 is a valid index. And now, let's move this guy. Oh. Yep. We might still have a bug. About to find out. Keep this, guys. All right. If we want to move it there. Whoa, that was not right. All right. If we want. Okay, we still want this stuff. And now we are going to the adjusted index. Current drag item. Current drag target. And the adjusted index. This should give us enough debugging information for what we want to do. Then other thing that we need to do, let's go here. And we always want to set target to none on a drop event as well. So, 1, 0, negative 1. Interesting. If we move that one there, we've got 1, 2, 2. If we want to move this one here, that's when it jumps really, really weird. And we've got 0, 1, 1. And after we've got 2, 8, 4. 2. That's not right. What am I logging? Does splice give you a brand new array? Results array, and if necessary, insert new elements in their place. Start, delete count, and items to add. Okay. 0 based location in the array from which to start removing elements. Delete count items. An array containing the elements. Oh, splice is interesting, which means I don't need to do this part. An array containing the elements that were deleted. Never mind. We still need this. Okay. An array containing the elements. So next should be different after this. the target is top. Okay. If we are moving this here, that seems to work like a charm. 1, 2, 2, bottom. 2, 8, 2, 8, 4, 2, 8, 3, 2, 8, what? I mean, it's clearly right here, but this is not correct. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. If the current drag item is less than the current drag target, that's where we got it mixed. There we go. See? All right, draggable sort. Done. We did it. But now we gotta do something else. One last thing to make this form worthy, which is for every single one of these suckers. We need to add an input of type hidden with a name of media and the current index, and the value is going to be the ID of this media file in the database. So that in our backend, when we submit this, we will have this array of media IDs, and we will just associate them with this post. Because during upload is when we create the media element, so they already exist by the time that we're like submitting this form. And I can just kind of show you real quick what that looks like on Table Plus. Is the fame of the game. All right. There we go. Look at all these media elements that have been created. Some of them are pending because they failed on the front end. And then you just go through the cron job and clean those all up. We don't have any posts, but we got a whole lot of media elements that we're all going to delete now because we don't need them. Delete. Save. Cool. All right, that's it. That's all she wrote for today. Adding, drag, and drop media sorting to create form. And then we can just make it look nicer in the future. That's really the only step left, is if we want to make anything else nice about it. Which I think it feels not terrible. I mean, obviously I need to add more information and spacing, etc., etc. But as far as like the actual, like, I think what I want to do, one, I need to kind of disable this because like this, I mean, I guess I could leave it because it doesn't really matter, but I'd probably want to like disable, like gray this out and make it to where it doesn't show anything if it's the current item being dragged. And then the other thing that might be nice is to do like you can kind of like move things around, like I don't know. I don't know if I care to do that. I like the borders a little bit, but I want them not to like make things jump around kind of like this. I just want them to be highlights. And that's, I mean, that's pretty nice already. And then what you'll see here, if we go to the actual field, is that we've got our input field with the right index, which will work in our code base. So if we go to store request for our post, what we've got here is like a media. It's required, and it's required to be an array. And for each of these elements of a media field, it's required, and we check to make sure that that ID exists in the database. That is like what's awesome about Laravel. It's just like all these things you kind of just get out of the box that you'd have to like handwrite otherwise. This, just writing this string goes and guarantees that this media item exists in the database and fails the request if it doesn't. So cool. All right, is that everything? Cool. All right, well, I'm gonna wrap up the stream for the day, and I super appreciate everybody coming on. It was fun. Peace.